I can barely hear you, Terrace. Hold on one second.
Okay.
If you can barely hear Terrace, then your shit's really not.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You don't even need Wi-Fi to hear Terrace. You don't even need Wi-Fi.
Hey, I'm Don Was, president of Blue Note Records, and you're watching First Look. With us today is a true super group of musicians, call themselves R plus R equals Now. Every one of these guys is a visionary player, composer, producer, and band leader. And man, just looking at the screen today, I know that like in 40 years, people are going to watch this video and say, I can't believe all these guys were in one place at the same time. It's really incredible. It's great to have you here. I could do nothing but review your credits for the next hour, but let me just give very brief introductions. Robert Glasper has won 4 Grammys and an Emmy, recorded 8 brilliant albums for Blue Note over a 15-year period. He's produced, recorded, and performed with a wide array of artists, ranging from Kendrick Lamar, Erykah Badu, and Common to Herbie Hancock and Roy Hargrove. Terrace Martin is one of the leading record producers on earth, having produced a bunch of albums with Snoop Dogg, recorded with Stevie Wonder, and of course produced Kendrick Lamar, including the classic To Pimp a Butterfly. He's also a great multi-instrumentalist and a member of Herbie Hancock's touring band. Christian Scott Atunde Adjoa is a brilliant trumpeter and composer. Recorded 13 albums as a leader, got 5 Grammy nominations. He's won 2 Edison Awards and has recorded with a bunch of folks, ranging from his uncle Donald Harrison Jr. to Prince. In addition, he leads one of the finest groups I've ever heard in my life. Derek Hodge is an awesome composer, arranger, producer, and one of my favorite bass players on the world. He's recorded 3 beautiful albums for Blue Note, won a couple of Grammys, was musical director for Maxwell, and has recorded and played with folks ranging from Terrence Blanchard and Mulgrew Miller to Mos Def and Kanye West. Taylor McFerrin, great DJ, producer, keyboardist, and beatboxer. His debut album, Early Riser, was released on Flying Lotus's Brain Feeder label, and he's recorded and performed with Thundercat, Hiatus Coyote, and his dad, Bobby McFerrin. Justin Tyson, brilliant drummer, producer, and rapper, recorded and performed not only with these guys individually and collectively, but with folks like Esperanza Spalding and Ledisi. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, that's all the time we got, but thank you very much for being here.
Justin, when you start rapping.
Today, I get it. First of all, Justin, did you bring your own barber to this Zoom?
Hey man, I got a bootleg barber up here in North Hollywood.
Oh.
He's still in the barber chair. The barber
well, you guys got a new album out. It's called R plus R equals Now Live, recorded at the Blue Note Club in New York. And Robert, I think it's fair to say that you were basically the instigator behind this undertaking. Tell us what it's like to go on tour with these guys and to play together night after night.
Man, it's the same on and off stage. It's never a feeling like, okay, now we got to go on stage. Like when we're on stage, it feels like we're in a green room. You know what I mean? It's just like, cause we're all so close, we're all so cool, we all vibe on a level that's even beyond the music. You know what I mean? So the music is the easy part. That's the secondary part. That's the one we just go in there and breathe. That we're all so in tune. You know what I mean? So this is like literally one of the best bands I've ever played with. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy and it's fun, and it's very rare you can get these type of guys together and everybody actually really listens. Like their first thing is to listen. You know what I mean? Because it's like having 5 point guards or some shit. You know what I mean? Like everybody's used to having the ball. You know what I'm saying? But when we get together, it's like, everybody plays the position, and everybody switches positions. There is no point guard. Everybody switches. I put the band together, but I don't feel like it's my band at all. You know what I mean? It's literally just us. You know what I mean? And everybody has the ball whenever, and boom, 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 boom. So I look, it's different every night, all the time. And it's just the vibe,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Justin, maybe you talk about it. Every show I've seen has been completely different, even when you play the same songs. What's that like? Must keep you on your toes all night, right?
Yeah, but I mean, not in a way where it feels like any pressure. You know what I mean? Like the vibe and the energy of the band, like Rob was saying, is just so. I mean, we have such a mutual understanding of each other that I guess that's just kind of what it would be weird to expect anything different than that. You know what I mean? So that I guess the way that it comes out that way just feels natural and comfortable.
Christian, something I noticed is that there's no fear in this band. People take bold leaps all the time and will make an abrupt left turn, you know, and everyone reacts quickly. What's that like?
Well, you know, I think that really has a lot to deal with what Robert was saying about listening to each other, you know? Like when I think about this group and how it's different from a lot of the things that are being presented in this moment is, you know, firstly, the respect and the reverence for each player, right? You know, I think our personal relationships and the relationships that have developed have fed a lot into that, but really the band is the sound of listening, right? And I think if you take all of our collective experiences in music, and also our collective experiences in the music industry and business, when we're looking at all of the things that all of these men have had to traverse to become, you know, the archetype guys for a generation, that requires a lot of bravery, right? It requires the ability to stand in moments when most people are acquiescing to the concerns, musical concerns and business concerns, right? So, you know, it was like that though from the very beginning. You know, I can remember the first day we really got in the studio, we spent most of the time kind of feeling each other out. Even, you know, a composition like Respond is a direct result of that kind of energy, right? So it's the respect, the reverence, the ability to take a step back and to understand that, you know, the things that you're saying in this moment, someone's deeply listening and trying to understand what it is that you're presenting. Those are things that are going to armor you and make you more valiant in your exhibition, right? And so it's really more of a byproduct than anything else to me.
Beautiful, man. Derek, let's talk about that song, Respond. Yeah, I think you and Christian wrote that together, and I think the band name comes from that song, right?
No, it's kind of crazy, man. Kind of what Robert and Christian said. It's like every aspect of this group, man, reflects that chemistry and that respect, you know? For example, even the term respond, like for someone like Robert, you know what I mean, that has done so much, you know, for me to find out from an interview actually that was the inspiration behind the name, because he said, you know, when I was doing the session with him and Terrace, I was just saying I was responding, you know what I mean? Yeah. To find that out, that just speaks to that lack of ego and just caring about the spirit of every person, you know what I mean? And I always try to honor that, you know, with our peers. So the funny thing when it comes to that song on the album, that ended up the title, but that was really a reflection of what R&R is. You're actually hearing at the beginning of that song, Christian and I talking through it. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think the beauty of it is just trusting that moment. Hey, let's leave all that on there. Let's leave the discussion. Let's leave us talking about the form, you know, in every way. And I just feel like that's why, you know, that you can feel and hear that respect and that selflessness. And that's why, for me, I always say this group, I keep the LP, the vinyl right on top of my piano. Because these were like, you know, all individuals that inspired me. It wasn't just seeing how they respond in the moment every day. They're some of my favorite leaders. You know, we bring up some of the heroes. I learned that, hey, don't wait for the perfect time. Record Color of Noise now. You see your homies putting together ideas every day. You know what I mean? Like they were inspirations in that way, just being in the moment. And I really feel like the name kind of makes sense. And even that song, it all kind of reflects what we are.
Well, let's play that song. Respond from the new album by R+R = Now, live. Let's Respond from the new album by R+R equals Now live. Terrace, you originally cut How Much a Dollar Cost with Kendrick. Tell us about the differences between recording it with Kendrick Lamar and the R+R version.
One sold millions of dollars. Next question.
I heard this one yet.
Yeah, well, it felt like when I was writing that song anyway, when I was playing that song, I was trying to play like Robert on that song. So that was when I was just writing the song, but that was the whole like Robert and thinking of Coltrane, Olay. That was the whole with a gang of weed, so much weed in the studio. Weed brownies, weed butter, organic tequila. You know what I'm saying? All vegan eating, Don, no grease, nothing fried, alkaline water, and Mountain Spring and sea moss. You feel me? And that was just, it was a vibe. So when Robert started playing that, I remember when I heard him play with the Experiment, I think, and I was like, oh damn, that's hard. And then he was playing, I was like, shit, I really sound like that motherfucker on that. You know?
Everybody thought it was me. I was mad. That's like me.
Yeah. But it felt like, really like musically, it felt like I was just doing the demo for what we would end up doing later on. It felt like it was supposed to be ours from jump without even knowing we was going, you know what I mean? We just all on the same wave. And I was going to say like before this, Don, this is the most, I've done so many fucking records. This is the most egoless set of cats I've ever been around in my whole from the street shit, from the Crip shit to the record shit to the rap shit to the whatever, the alkali shit to the jazz shit to the funk shit. These are the highest level musicians and the most egoless set of human beings I've ever been around. And I mean that it was so easy to slide into here. It felt like it was the strangest shit I've ever felt in my fucking life. It was like meeting all your cousins. No, it was meeting it's like your daddy had a gang of fucking kids. Right? And you just met these motherfuckers at a studio. I'm talking about damn motherfuckers got the same habits. All kind of shit. You know, but it was dope. I feel like we all learned so much from each other, man. Like I learned terms from Christian Scott, like ancestral recall, or different things from Taylor about MIDI shit, or Justin about different, it was like going to a school. You couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and bump into a motherfucker at breakfast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't wait like, oh shit, oh what's up, bro? It was never like, what's up, bro?
That's good. That's pretty rare to find that in the band. You know, that doesn't happen all the time.
It's rare to find that in life.
Yeah. Well, let's play a little bit of How Much a Dollar Cost from the new album, R+R equals Now live. That's How Much a Dollar Cost from the new album, R+R equals Now live. Taylor, Perspectives, Postpartum, that's a medley of songs previously recorded by you and Christian. Tell us how that became a medley.
It was kind of how everything else in the album went, which was one little idea got presented and then it immediately turned into a completely finished like masterpiece. Like everyone else just finished each other's ideas. And actually the whole process of recording and performing was like that, where the album, you know, we'd play each other a half finished idea that was like, maybe I'll do something with this. And then everyone would just learn the chords. We'd go and record. I think the whole album is first takes. And then on top of that, each song started with that idea that one person presented, and then we just let the tape run. It always turned into a completely separate composition. And then the album is basically the initial idea and then what it blossomed into. And a lot of times we put like a track marker in the middle, and the second idea was its own new song. And the whole tour was really like that, you know, because honestly, we had like one rehearsal before our first show, but it was really like a hang. And we kind of like had to relearn our whole album like at the shows, you know? So it was like the whole first quarter of the tour was like relearning these songs. That was really a jam and a, you know, organic thing in the studio. And then it was really magical when we got into our zone and was like, oh, we know these songs now. And then each person started figuring out how to take their idea to the next level, or how can I support this person on this part. Like I was having so much fun doing like the really spaced out effects behind like Terrace's solos, where I was trying to take it into a really psychedelic realm. And each performance was like so exciting to see, like, how can we stretch this little pocket for this song? Because last show it went somewhere I wasn't expecting. And I'm so glad that we're putting out the Blue Note shows, because that felt like when we were a band at like its final finished form. Exactly. And we'd gone to Japan, we'd gone all over, we'd done all these experiments. And the funniest thing to me about that too was it felt like Robert had mastered his stand-up comedian set by the end as well. Like he'd been working on all the material the whole tour. Like, you know, it was like the final, like the HBO special. But yeah, I mean, back to your question, even just the way me and Christian's two songs melded together, that was just like a quick idea. They worked, but then we put it together, and it was like I got to hear a really old song of mine in a completely new context, and like just experience it in a whole new way. And it was crazy. It was new every night. And now looking back, you know, it was a long time ago we did this tour. So looking back, it was really kind of a special moment, especially since we haven't been touring, we haven't been out there. Now looking back, like that was such a high level experience to kind of to go out on.
What I enjoyed the most about it was also seeing and feeling the synergy between the concepts of what we're building, right? Because for me, like I've always been a fan of Taylor's work. And, you know, we all know what the Harmony is doing, what's happening, what's going on musically. But to see how seamlessly these seemingly disparate compositional acumen fit together, right? Because to most people, they may listen to his music or listen to my music, listen to Rob's music, Derek, whoever's music, and feel as though those concepts are so comprehensively built that they're islands by themselves, right? But in an environment like this, you actually see all of the synergies that exist between that, right? You know, Taylor spoke to how, you know, each night something new was contributed, the things that we developed, the roles that we had, those things shifting. And for that song in particular, what was always fun to me about playing that was having the opportunity to support the other instruments once it transitioned into postpartum, which is not something that you traditionally have from a trumpet, right? Because this instrument is usually a proclamatory instrument of the vocal kind of component. So, you know, when you're night after night, you know, whether or not we're in Japan or we're in Indonesia or any of these spaces, you know, to have the ability to be able to feed off of all of those things, but to hear the synergies and the compositional acumen as well was like, that was really the most mind-blowing thing for me, right? Even as someone that listens and is a musician, I can listen to one of these records all day and not realize how related we all are. And so, you know, kind of what Terrace was saying was like, you show up and you find out like that your dad has like 5 other sons, right? It's that kind of energy every night. So for me, that medley, I think, was a really hip moment and way to do it, because I don't know where Taylor was at with it, but like for me, Perspectives is like, I don't know that we would have ever played that again in my band. And once we played it in this band, it was just like, it was doper. right? So you're also growing and learning. It's
Right.
just incredible. So I just had to offer that because my head was there.
Word up. Word up.
Well, let's play that song, Perspectives Postpartum. All right, that's Perspectives Postpartum from the new album, R+R=Now Live. Guys, I really appreciate y'all being here today. It's just good to see y'all. That's wild that you haven't seen each other in so long. And
Crazy.
I really do believe in the chemistry of this group, man. And I hope you do more stuff together. It's a very rare and extraordinary thing. It's a beautiful album. I agree with you, Taylor. It was an incredible gig, the stand at the Blue Note there. I really hope you guys keep it going. It's an extraordinary band. Thanks so much for being here. It's an honor to speak with y'all. Good to see y'all.
We love you, Don.
Hey, love you too,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, man. Definitely
No one
appreciate
like
you,
you,
man.
man.
Yeah.
You
All right,
always
well,
stay down.
Okay, beautiful record. And thank you. Thanks for doing it, man. And thanks to everybody for watching First Look. See you soon.
Peace.
If you enjoyed First Look and would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button and also click the bell icon. That way, you'll be notified when we post our next video.